White people with resources don't put their kids in public school. If LeBron would have went to public school, he would have never been LeBron James. That's why he went to a private Catholic school. If Kobe would have went to public school, he would have never been Kobe Bryant. That's why he went to a Catholic public school, private school. If you want to develop your child, you don't put your child in no public school. To go deal in an environment where all of these children who live below the poverty level, because in most public schools, predominantly kids get free lunch. That means your parents are poor. You're below the poverty level. That means you're either at or above or below. That means y'all don't have no money. And your mother had to prove this. That's why you get a free lunch. Why would you put your kid in this environment where the focus is all of these kids passing a test so the teacher can keep her job? It's not about teaching and developing your kids. Why would you put your kid in this unless you have to? Most people who want their kids to be something don't put them in public school system. White people.
Now, he already says, he's already said it and said it multiple times. He plays a character on social media. So anyone that actually believes this, okay, you really slow up there in your brain. You're slow. You're really slow, okay? Don't get it confused, okay? Yes, people that make money, people that are successful, 9 times out of 10 send their kids to private school. Has nothing to do with being or making them something in life. No, that has zero to do with that, okay? Because just as much stuff happens in private school as they do in public school. It's just not advertised like it is. And just the same way, depending on the public school you go to, you're getting the same education you'll be getting in a private school as you would in a public school, just depending on what public school you're going to and where your public school is at, what district it's in. Because I guarantee you, majority of them white schools, their teachers are educating them kids perfectly fine, without an issue without no issues at all. And when it goes to athletes, Kobe Bryant went to a public school. Michael Jordan went to a public school. There's multiple players. Scottie Pippen went to a public school. Scottie Pippen Jr. went to a public school. It's multiple kids. What's the old boy name? Carmelo Anthony went to a public school. There's multiple athletes that are successful in life that has went to public schools. Just because you go to a private school does not mean you're going pro. Okay. Now LeBron James went to a public high school at the beginning, and then he switched to private high school, and that was simply for one thing. Okay, that was them. Was it Marion? Okay, whatever private high school he went to. Okay, he in himself wouldn't have been able, his mother rather, okay, wouldn't have been able to afford him to go to that high school. That's one thing you can believe. But the fact that he was a great athlete and was destined to go to the NBA, they looked over that. Okay, the average kid wouldn't have got to go that didn't have the funds to make it to or afford to be at a private school, wouldn't have been there, especially a black one. Okay, LeBron James was there for one reason and one reason only, because he knew how to ball and it was clear he was going pro. Wasn't no in between, wasn't no if. It was a guarantee he was going pro, and having him on their basketball team would give them notoriety to that school. To that school. Get it? Got it? Understand it. You know what I'm saying? But like you said, Charleston White says it himself that he plays a character on social media. He says it himself. So anyone that believes this stuff is lost in the sauce. You know what I'm saying? It's just truly lost in the sauce. I'm not acting like everything Charleston White says is off, but this right here is off. It's off to the core, and the only ones that really believe this stuff is people that are lost in the sauce. Now, yes, when you go into public schools, when you're at a public school and it's in the ghetto, yes, you're going to have more corruption in that school because it's in the ghetto. But if you go into a public school in the suburbs or something like that, okay, you ain't going to have none of those problems. None of those problems at all. Not at all. Your child can get educated if he wants. Now, if your child wants to be just a knucklehead, okay, that's just what he going to be. I don't care if he is in a private school or not. If that's what he chose to be, that's what he chose to be, a knucklehead, okay? Hopefully he figure it out by the time before he graduates. But hey, it has nothing to do with being in a public school. I mean a private school. It has nothing to do with being in a private school or public school. Nothing. Neither way, as far as being successful. Being successful. There are more successful people on this planet that has went to a public school than private school. You can believe that. You can 100% believe that. But listen to him one more time. And like I said, once again, he says out his own mouth, he plays a character on social media. So this is no knock to him, because I understand clearly this is him playing a character. I know he don't believe this. I know he don't believe this. I really do know he don't.
With resources don't put their kids in public school. If LeBron would have went to public school, he would have never been LeBron James. That's why he went to a private Catholic school. If Kobe would have went to public school, he would have never been Kobe Bryant. That's why he went to a Catholic public school, private school. If you want to develop your child, you don't put your child in no public school. To go deal in an environment where all of these children who live below the poverty level. Because in most public schools, predominantly kids get free lunch. That means your parents are poor. You're below the poverty level. That means you're either at or above or below. That means y'all don't have no money. And your mother had to prove this. That's why you get a free lunch. Why would you put your kid in this environment where the focus is all of these kids passing a test so the teacher can keep her job? It's not about teaching and developing your kids. Why would you put your kid in this unless you have to? Most people who want their kids to be something don't put them in public school system. White people with resources don't put them.
You know, I just played that second time just so people could hear what he said again. Okay? Because like I said, I believe, I'm not going to speak, I'm not in that man's mind. I'm not a mind reader. I believe that he knows that what he's saying is BS. Okay? Now, I definitely understand that he knows that people are going to view the things he say regardless of what he say. That's just like me, myself. I view Charleston White knowing that he talks a lot of ignorant stuff, but at the same token, he's funny. He's a character. Like he stresses, he's playing a character. He's playing a character. Now, you can't fault him for getting a little fame and thinking that, I mean, he's getting the notoriety and he think he knows some things. Okay, there's plenty of people walking this earth that get a little notoriety and then they think they have the answer to everything or to most things. You know, when they don't have a clue, they're just getting a little change put in their pocket. He's no different. He's no different. Okay, but it's only the people that are lost in the sauce. Slow, really slow up here. It ain't functioning right. That believe most of the things he say, because it has nothing to do with being in a private school or public school to whether you make it on this planet. If LeBron James wasn't as dedicated as he is to balling, and the private school that he went to knew that he was going to be a success, and him going to that private school would be light put on that private school that would be a good light, and they would more than likely, I don't know if they won the the state championship that year. I'm not sure, or the years that he went. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But there are reasons why LeBron James went to that private high school. If it was just because of his mother's income, he would have been at a public school. Cause ain't no way his mother had income to make private school money. That was not happening. But hey, y'all can believe what y'all want to believe. People who believe that, hey, y'all really lost in the sauce, and I hope y'all getting a check from somebody. But hey, y'all share, like, and subscribe. Peace. I'm up out of here.